Hello my wonderful ecological fiends, my name is Cedar and I live out of a Honda CRV. If you've been with the channel for a little while, you know that I've been doing this for a while. A couple of months ago I hit 1 year of living out of the CRV pretty much full time. So I'm super excited about that. I did a full summer tour about what it was like to live in the CRV over the summer, all my contraptions and things I had to figure out, and it was kind of a hit. So I'm going to make this video, which is a winter tour video. So if you're planning on living out of a CRV or any kind of vehicle in the winter time, this video will hopefully give you some tips and tricks to help you be a little bit more comfortable in there and help you figure out some things that you might not have clear answers on. This is my 4th rebuild of the inside of the CRV, so we'll check that out in just a second here. So we got a nice view of the front here. This is a 2010 Honda CRV, so it'll fit within that time span of internal design here. Got my firefighter plates on there. I am a firefighter as well as working for the search and rescue. Out here we've got a nice warm winter day here in West Virginia, so let's get cracking. I got some personalized decal paint up there, which lets people know that I'm a hippie before I even get to them. And you can see there's a flexible solar panel on top of there. That's a 175 watt panel by Renogy. It is the best panel that I've ever had, hands down. That literally ripped off one time and got run over by a semi truck, and it still works. So if you're thinking about buying a flexible solar panel, get the 175 watt from Renogy. Not a sponsor, just worked out really, really well. One thing I will point out before we get started here, you can see the differences in my wheel wells. You can see the rear wheel well is sunken down quite a bit. The springs, the shocks are compressed a little bit. So I had to make some critical decisions, which I did not want to make, to avoid having that wheel well actually hit the tire. We'll talk more about that in a second. We'll start up front here. This is all of my stuff that I access on a day-to-day basis. So mostly food is what we're talking about here. This is my day pack. It's an Osprey Day something plus. And you can see my knife's on here. If it's not on my hip, it's on my bag. I keep all my other essentials in here, usually books, my journal, headphones, things like that. And then I've got this box right here because I'm going out on a trip. I'll be in the field for about a week and a half. So this is all my food for that week. And then over here is kind of my standard fare for what else is going on when I'm cooking. You know, this is all of my breakfast stuff is in here. We're making hot dogs out of carrots on the trip. Don't ask me how that works. So that's what those rolls are for. But for breakfast every day, I have oatmeal, overnight oats, because you don't need to cook those. And so inside of this is primarily all my stuff that I need to make overnight oats. And then you'll see this box right here. This is my road snack box, okay? So this is all stuff that does not need to be cooked. That's kind of snackage, not hugely calorically dense, but that I enjoy to eat while I drive. So I've got some dried fruit here, some crackers, some granola bars, apples, and some chocolate covered almonds. You notice I put them at the bottom so they're not easy access. And then this kind of fell when I moved this, but this is also where I put my Nalgene for when I'm driving here. So we tuck that back there, put that back in. And if you're not already living out of a car, you'll begin to learn very quickly that you're eternally playing a game of Tetris. And it's actually kind of fun. And over here, you'll see this little shoved in thing here. This is my winter coat. So this is just quick access here. If I am sleeping in the back, I will take that in the back with me, but it's the middle of the day. It's as warm as it's gonna get today right now. So this is up here for me. Up on the dashboard here, I've got some other stuff. I've got my winter beanie over there. I've got some knickknacks and stuff and radio. And I have Lucy lights here. So this is just a rechargeable solar lantern here. I've been using this one too as well. This one changes colors, so I quite like it. Got some more knickknacks in here, a knife sharpener, a flower that somebody made me. My partner made me a word of affirmation book because words of affirmation are my love language. So keep this up front where it's easily accessible. And then I've got this back panel here, so this will roll out and this becomes the window panel for the large back window there. And then down here we've got a couple more things. I'm planting some trees later, so I've got some acorns here. And then I've got some lantern fuel in here. I've got this lantern. We'll talk more about that in a second. And my main cooking pot. You'll notice that there's a bag around the lantern because lanterns are not designed to be transported in cars, it turns out, so it's a little leaky. And then I've got this cooler right here. So somebody gifted this slash tried to throw it out, and I rescued it, tore it open, and installed all this Reflectix lining in there. And so I've got more fruits and veggies in there. This just kind of helps them stay cold when it starts to get sunny out during the day. And then tucked back in there, I have all my peanut butter reserves. And on the passenger door here, I've got sanitizer, smoke alarm slash CO2 alarm, and my CB radio. And that radio will also give me weather. And I've also got some more things in here. This is mostly if I have to move this stuff and I have a passenger. Extra cables and stuff for phones that I don't have, and some emergency medicine and things like that. You can see Cal, he actually got into kind of an accident here. So unfortunately, we're still waiting for him to recover. We'll see how he does in the next couple weeks here. And then down here in this corner, I keep my thermos. So I'll get coffee, I'll fill this with coffee and put it in the thermos. And if you don't add milk or sugar, which I don't, it'll stay good for, the longest I've gone is about 4 weeks, and the coffee is still totally good. So I don't know what the upper limit on that is, but yeah. And then over here on the driver's side, if you were here for the construction videos, which you can still go back and watch them if you want. This is what you look like, by the way. I drilled through the roof of the CRV to get the solar panel wires into the vehicle, and I was living in a very dry climate when I did that. I'm in West Virginia right now, so it's super wet, and it started leaking. So all I did was got a $7 tarp from O'Reilly's, put an NRS strap around the sucker, tightened it as tight as I could get it, and the roof no longer leaks. So that's awesome. Over here, we're a little dirty right now. Sorry. This is what you get when you show up uninvited. And got my mask here, my reusable shopping bag, another mask, and a tape recorder. My partner and I record tapes and give them to each other as presents, so that's there. And I have a pillow here for my back when I'm driving. I keep another layer behind here. And then you'll also notice I've got a curtain going across here. And these are tacks, basically, but they're special kind of tack. They're called upholstery pins. So it's basically a corkscrew type of tack, and you screw that into the upholstery so that it sticks better. Got a steering wheel cover here, and I've got lights down there that you can't really see because it's daytime. And then in the center here, we've got extra room. You could put more water bottles. Back here, got a pair of gloves up there, and you can see the ease of access for my snackage right here when I'm driving. It's literally right next to me. And then my backpack is up here too, so whatever I need there. And I also have the sunroof so I can check and make sure nothing's flying off up there, which is really, really helpful. One thing I really like about this style of CRV, one of the main reasons I bought this instead of a different version, is because the shifter's up here, so you have all of this room down here to do whatever you want. And underneath this, this is just the cup holders here. This is like a little tray table that folds down, so it'll go like this. And this is a cutting board that my partner made me that goes on top of here just to protect it a little bit, and I'll also cut veggies and eat off of this most of the time. Underneath this is my road response bag, so if I come upon a traffic accident or I'm responding to a call or something, this is just here. I got my gloves and everything, and it just slides out of there, so I can just grab that and go. And then I've also got my cables here, my phone charging cable and my aux cable. I've got a little holder up here so I can put my phone on here when I'm driving and just use the GPS like that, and it's super convenient. And then underneath here, I've got a little diffuser inside of this box. It's from doTERRA. I'm not going to take it out right now, but it's basically a little cylinder rechargeable essential oil diffuser to help mitigate scents, because things can become very pungent when you're cooking and sleeping and everything inside of the same vehicle. I've got the mister, which you'll know from some of our summer videos. Won't talk much about that, but that stays under there. And underneath the passenger seat over there is a sock full of rice to help mitigate with moisture in here. Up on top, we've got 2 storage crates with extra stuff in there, my raft and some winter clothing and stuff like that I'm not using right now. And then I've got a come along here, which helps me pull out of spots that I get stuck in. Then I've got some tracks over there too. In the back here, if you watched the last tour, you'll notice a major difference in the construction material. The last build outs have all been made out of wood, but this, I guess still technically wood, but it's cardboard. So I helped a friend set up his electric bicycle shop, so we had to assemble a ton of electric bicycles, and part of that was unboxing all these bicycles. So I had access to these huge sheets of cardboard, and so what I did was I essentially got 3 to 4 of them, and I just glued them together with Elmer's glue, and that worked. and it's not the prettiest, most certainly. You can see things kind of curved and warped a little bit here, but it works. And I told you earlier I had to make some sacrifices because of the sinking shocks back here, so this was one of the sacrifices I had to make. Unfortunately, it's not nearly as pretty, but it's here. And then these little spots are where I had to drill through. Anyway, this is where the solar comes into the vehicle. It goes down underneath here, and then the battery, inverter, and charge controller are all inside this little cupboard here. You'll get a better look at that in just a second, I promise. And then up here I've got my raincoat, nice easy access, and you'll notice there's a little hole right here. This is where that other layer was that I was talking about earlier, behind the driver's headrest. So if it's pouring outside all of a sudden, I can actually reach my hand back and pull my raincoat through to the front. And you'll see a bunch of these green suckers here. You'll get a better view of those in just a second too. And then in the back here is where I keep my rifle. And we've also got these window panels here. So this is cardboard layered with Reflectix, all taped and glued together with these upholstery tacks as well. So this can pop out if I want full ventilation inside, but I usually don't in the winter. I've got some composted bags down there, and those are for the trash and other stuff, I guess, you could use them for. But I really, really like the design of these. In a lot of states, blackout laws are different for windows, and I travel a lot, so it's nice to have something that I can remove and put on as I want. But you can see as I shut that, it doesn't look like anything. Both of these have the panels in there. If you look closely, you can kind of see a little bit of texture in there, but there's zero visibility to get inside there. We'll walk around to the other passenger rear door here, and inside of here we have access to some more stuff. So I keep some Tupperware and some cooking stuff back in here in this crate, and I have more cooking stuff down underneath there. So if I'm actually going to be cooking, which I try not to do, you take all this stuff out. It's pots and pans and grease and spatulas and stuff like that. All right, on to the good stuff. Who's your farmer? So we open this up, and you'll notice a few things, probably. I'll give you a second to take a nice look there. We're gonna start all the way back here. So I've got this little tide sucker right here. So I will often hang the lantern from this carabiner here, right outside. So it dangles down, gives me lots of light inside, and also light outside if I need to do work or if I'm working on a project that goes into nighttime. And then up here, you also got the door latch. So this is different in different years of CRV, but for this series, all you do is you get a screwdriver and you pop out this thing, and then you'll notice there's a little knob right here. Just twist that knob that I'm touching right now, and the door lock will pop right open. And we've also got this handle to shut it down on us. So we'll do a quick walk from back, or clockwise, I guess, yeah. So right here I've got two drums. These are dromedary bags, so these are water bladders, essentially. They're full of water. We've got 16 liter capacity here, and I've got another 4 liters of Nalgene's. So I've got 20 liters in products like that, and I've got another 3 liter water bladder in my backpacking bag right there. So I've got a lot of water capacity. I can be out for over a week without having to get an external water source, which is pretty sweet. So something to consider when it's cold out and you're building out your car is that things like metal, things like water, and some plastics are going to be really, really cold, and you don't want to be touching those because they'll sap your heat out and they'll make you really cold. So what I've done here is I've kind of designed an all-season seat. This is basically like a water bed to sit on, and it's super comfortable. So in the summer, it's nice because this water stays cool. It's 10 liters of water. Your butt is not going to warm that up anytime soon. So you can actually get the sleeping pad right here, flip this over, then your Tootsie can go right on there, and you're insulated from the water, but you retain all of the comfort benefits. And also, when this door is shut and this little pad is back here, it's really nice to put your pillow on top of there. Just the way that I sleep, I find it super comfortable to do that. And then you might also be wondering what the heck this thing is if you haven't seen the video. So I'll show you now, and we do have a build out video for this. This is basically like a warmer, like a heating pad, I guess you could say. So this metal piece is actually my camping cup. So if we slide that out, it's just a camping cup, and you can use this to cook over a fire, do whatever you want. I use this just about every day. And then inside of here is just a regular old Nalgene. So the idea is put this over a fire, pour the water out of here into there, heat up the water, pour the water back into this Nalgene, sink that down, then this whole section is insulated, pop this back onto there, and then all of a sudden you've got an insulated water heater that'll keep you warm. I keep this inside my jacket. I sometimes even put it inside of cargo pants. So super fun, very helpful if you have to sit outside for long periods of time. Over here, we've got my trash, which I try not to use a lot, try and just get rid of things immediately, and also try not to have a lot of trash, to be honest. So this is just a compostable bag. They're not plastic, so it's really nice to be avoiding that, but you can also just use regular grocery bags if your parents or your grandparents have a huge hoard of those underneath. And this is a bear vault container, so this is what I'll use when I'm backpacking in bear country, which this is all bear country. So it's really nice to have a safe spot to put the trash in there. I've had friends who have been naked in their cars and bears came over and opened up the doors and came inside to get at their trash. So take bear prevention methods. Yeah. And this is a pillow here. Behind it, this is my GoPro case. So this is just where this is where the camera came from. And then this is a chair. You can see what it looks like there. So if I want to sit outside underneath that lantern hang that I told you about, I'll just assemble this outside, and it's nice. Nice and comfy to have more than one spot to sit. And then we'll talk about the bed for a hot second here. So I've got a bunch of blankets on here. I actually do not sleep under more than one blanket right now. So I've got this woven blanket here. I've got a wool cotton blend blanket. I've got a full synthetic military tarp. And then I've got sheets, which are stapled to this memory foam. Somebody gifted me this memory foam. They were remodeling their vehicle and they didn't want it anymore. So I have that, and then underneath that is 2 of these sleeping pads. So when I go backpacking, I'll just rip this stuff out of there. And then underneath all of that, I have a bunch of extra craft materials. So I've got Reflectix here, and I've got sheets of reclaimed leather to do crafts with, just because they're all flat and it's a really convenient spot to store all that stuff. All right, it's time to go inside here. Hope you're ready. So this is kind of where I hang out. You can see what those panels look like from the inside here on those windows, and they're pretty sweet. All you got to do is pinch the fabric here and you can pull them out. I'm gonna leave that one up because I want that one in there, but I'll show you on this side. And that's what it looks like when it's out. So usually what I'm doing if I'm stealth camping is I'll leave them up like this, and then you can like peek around the sides here a little bit and see what's going on outside if you start to hear some funky sounds, you know, just in the corners there, which is really nice. But people generally can't come inside. They can't see inside, but if they are trying to creep on you, their face is gonna have to be right up against that window, and that looks really bad for them. You know, if you see someone's face there, you just rip the panel down and then they're like, oh, no, I wasn't looking at you. I hate to say it, but it does happen. Be careful out there, please. And on that note, we'll talk about this sucker right here. So I use this when I go birding. This is a binocular pack. So I've got my binos in here. I've got a flashlight, so you can actually turn that on and it'll go up toward the ceiling, create some light real quickly. And then on the bottom here, I've got a can of bear spray. So you basically just pull this tab and pull this out. So it's for bears primarily, but there are a lot of creepy people out there. So just be prepared for anything. Whoa, avalanche! We're parked on a slight downhill here, meaning I'm at the lowest point, so that's probably going to happen again. And it does happen pretty frequently. Unfortunately, it's just a consequence of living in a tiny space like this and having a lot of hobbies. So this is my backpacking bag here. Something that I really like is that my day pack is made by Osprey, and so is this. So my day pack will actually hook onto the front of this to make a solid system, a one bag system. And I use this to store all of my extra layers because I'm constantly layering up and layering down depending on what I'm doing throughout the day. So this has a little stuff compartment right here. You can cinch that down, and then you can also kind of use it like a duffel bag almost and open up the side here. And I have all my extra layers in here, which is really nice. Got gloves, got another water bladder too. And then you can just stuff your stuff right back in here. So it's nice to have a quick spot, almost like a drawer to put that stuff in. Right before you get in your sleeping bag, because you know you're probably going to put that stuff on as soon as you get out of your sleeping bag. And then it's also got the side pockets for water bottles, which is really nice right here. Then you can roll this back, and behind here I've got some clothing that I'm trading in soon, so that's just why that's out like that. I've got my tripod back there, my guitar and my trekking poles and my fishing equipment, all just big stuff that wouldn't really fit anywhere else. And then my solar control is right there, so I can peek my head in there, click that, and check on the battery voltage. Clothing is something that's been kind of frustrating for me to figure out, because I don't own a lot of clothes, but I own clothes for different things. So I have thermals, I've got hunting clothes. So I've got thermals, I've got camouflage for birding and hunting, and I've got warm stuff and I've got summer stuff. So, I mean, I feel like I have a fraction of the clothing that most people own, but it's still kind of a lot, because I have to consider that I don't want to smell that bad all the time. I still smell pretty bad, and I don't have a shower in here, so the only way to really control that is to change clothing often. And that's also a hygiene thing. You know, if you wear dirty clothes often, your body can start to get acne and things like that. So I like to change my clothes every couple days. And I've got different sacks for different things here. So I've got socks in this one, I've got pants in this one, shirts in this one, thermals in this one, and camouflage in this one. And they're all looped through this bungee cord here. So you can just pull that down. I can unzip from here, pull things out if I want to. And it's really nice because if I know I'm going somewhere and I'm going to get changed, like with an extra pair of socks, if I know my feet are going to get wet, I can just unhook this bungee cord and I can grab those socks, the whole sock bag, if I want to. And then right here I've got another Lucy light. So this is my primary light source at night. You just turn it on and it casts a light down here. And I also will sometimes hook the lantern from this. This is the big winter tip here, okay? The big winter tip is get a lantern and hang it from that thing. Make sure you have proper ventilation, but man, it is like a space heater in here. It's just a single flame. You can also use candles. I've definitely used candles in the past. That's what I started out using, but lantern's easier for me and it has more uses than a candle and it's less messy. So you can use that and it's pretty sweet. And it makes you really warm, and that makes a lot of difference when it's raining and you're trapped in your car and you don't have anywhere warm to go and you're feeling pretty miserable. Right here, this is my winter sleeping bag, so it's a 0-degree bag. My primary bag is a 25-degree bag, and that's underneath here. So I will put the 25-degree bag inside the 0-degree bag, and then I'm protected down to -25. Survival rating, comfort rating down there is about -10 degrees. So I don't really have a problem staying that warm in here. It's just a matter of being comfortable and being totally, cinched up inside of a mummy bag. You can't really do anything else except feel bad about being cold. And then in the center section here, I've got some drawing pads and a World Road Atlas. And this is also where I keep my laptop inside of here. And further down in here, I have my laundry bag. So this is where all my dirty clothes go. And it'll go down there. So when I'm ready to sleep, I pull that pillow out and I pull my sleeping bag out, get in them, and then my feet go back down underneath here. And this will allow me to push that black curtain forward between the driver and passenger seats. So my feet are up there. You still can't really see it when you're outside, but my feet are up there. And I still have access to this whole space and I can fully stretch out. I'm not the biggest person, but I'm also not the smallest person either. So I like to be able to fully extend my legs straight out. And this is kind of an adjustment that I made. And this is just another iteration of the design. If you want, go back and look at the previous designs on this channel, because this is kind of the final design that I like the most. I think there's not really much that I would change about this. But anyway, yeah. So you're about to see my normal sitting position here. So we've got this pillow at the back. And then if I flip around 180 degrees, I have access to my little countertop here. So this is a nice spot to put my computer. I can do some work up here, and I can put books up here. I can write on top of this. Super handy stuff, right? Back here we've got cooking stuff. You saw this from the other side, but from this side we have a few other things. So we've got this book light here that I can attach to a book if I'm reading, or sometimes I just put that on. If you're feeling miserable inside your car, something that I found that brings a little bit more joy to me is to have 2 light sources going. It's a little more energy consumptive, but if I have the Lucy light on and that on, or the lantern and that on, it just makes me feel a little bit better. I don't really know why, but it does. And I've got this little thing right here. This is what I use as a treat pouch when I'm dog training. But I put my phone in here at night so I can just reach up and grab it and turn off my alarm. And I've also got toilet paper back here and tea right back there. And then in front of me here, I have my boots. I wear 3 different pairs of shoes. So I've got my boots. This is what I'm wearing most of the time. I've got my trail runners, which are in this bag here. And then I've got my Crocs. So my Crocs are my camp shoe for everything. And I can walk in the rain. I can cross water with them. And they're super comfortable, you know? So can't really go wrong with these. But something I really like about this design here is my bookshelf is not that deep. So you can see that the front of the boots tuck down underneath here. And the way that this shelf works is, I mean, you can see it's not that big back there. It only goes back about 6 more inches from this edge, and books are really heavy, right? So this top one is actually heavier than the bookshelf, and there's another flat milk crate underneath this. So what this top weight does is essentially squeezing it so that this is pinched and held up right there. And so I've got all my books here. I've got some notebooks and journals and things like that to entertain myself with. And this is also where I'll put things to the side. Over here, for example, right now, we've got my wool sweater and my wool blanket. This is where these things live. So these are my primary extra layers. And at night, what I'll do is I will put this wool blanket on top of me. Even if it's a little bit warm, I'll put it just to the side of me. And one trick with that is that if you're stealth camping in a place and you don't feel like putting up your rear blinds up there, you can just have the wool blanket, and then I usually wake up when there's people nearby. So all I do is I pull that wool blanket over top of my head, and it's really perfect with this design because if you look in here from the back, and we'll do it in just a second here, if you look in here from the back, it does not look like there's somebody sleeping in here. So we'll just shut this back door, take a peek inside, right? Say you're trying to look in here. Try and cover you up so you can see. There's only about 3 feet of space from that pillow to where the door ends. So I think the human mind, when they're looking in the back of cars like this, they're generally looking for a person, especially if there's condensation on the windows, which is kind of hard to avoid as soon as it starts to get cold out. So if they just see a pile of blankets in there, probably not going to think that it's a human, which has been a real benefit for me. Nobody's bothered me since I started doing that trick. So once again, all you do is you just cover yourself with the wool blanket and pull it over your head once people get near. And your head is also so close to here that people will have to look pretty much straight down to be able to see you in there. Also like having a window open because it can get pretty cramped in here. Just to give you an example, we'll go ahead and shut this door for the last part of the tour. So you just shut that, and then this is what it looks like when I'm in here. You can tell I've got plenty of room. I can't exactly put my legs totally straight, but they're just about there, facing that way, and my back is against the backpacking bag. And then I can put my other pillow over here if I want to hang out. Sometimes I'll put my laptop up there in my other pillow over here, and I'll just lay down and watch a movie and put my feet up over here. Which is pretty sweet too. And you can start to see what I was talking about with the wool blanket, right? People's face has to be like right here to look down on you, and then they feel super uncomfortable if they see you because they've gotten way too close. They know they shouldn't have been that close. So more stuff back here. I thought for a while of figuring out how to hang the lantern from this seatbelt thing, but I never really got around to it, but maybe eventually. I've got an EDC video out there, which is an everyday carry video. This is my new updated first aid kit that I carry with me everywhere. It's got all the stuff that I would need pretty much immediately. I want to get into it now, but that's for a different video. So we'll just set that aside. I've got a team first aid kit back here, and then I've got my toiletry kit right here, and my towel actually fits in here. I just carry, it's a little bit bigger than a washcloth. I think it's 14 inches by 14 inches of a towel in here. And that allows me to inconspicuously go into bathrooms and take showers and stuff, right? Because everybody's expecting a big toiletry bag and a towel, right? But if your towel's tiny, people won't notice. And then I've got ammunition and cleaning supplies in this bottom one, and then this top container here is all my craft and art stuff. So I've got a lot of like string and like carving knives and beads and stuff in there because I make stuff and I sell it. And this is all held together with an NRS strap too. And on this side of the NRS strap, we've got a couple things that are pretty interesting. We've got this knife, which is like way like Rambo overkill, but somebody gave me this as a present. It's kind of insane and like massive, you know, but it's nice to have a knife. It's nice to have a knife right there, and it's also got a couple things that I find handy. So it's got a flint fire striker on the front here, and then on the back side of this, you can kind of see that little silver line right there. This little line right here is a sharpening stone. So all I have to do to access that is pull this, boom, sharpening stone right there. A lot of times I'll sleep with this back door open, especially if the weather's a little bit warmer and it's dry outside. I'll sleep with that open even though it's a little bit colder. So I'm constantly afraid because it's so fragrant, because there's so much food in here. I'm afraid that a bear or something is going to come up. It has not happened to me yet, thankfully. But I want to be prepared in case that does happen. But I've also got this, which is a flare gun made by Orion. You'll notice that it's green instead of orange or red like typical flare guns. So what's in here is not your typical flare. This is actually a bear banger. So what this does is it's basically just a little bit of gunpowder with no projectile. So when the firing pin on the flare gun hits this center fire cartridge here, it just shoots out a spark and makes a really loud sound. Bears will be frightened by that and hopefully go away and leave you alone. And I keep that tucked into the NRS strap right here between the sheath of this knife and the NRS strap. The barrel of the pistol just goes right there. Super convenient to grab, but also totally out of your way, you know. And then back here I've got a couple more things. So I've got some shells that I'm waiting to reload in there. And I've got extra charges for the bear banger here. So the yellow ones are the regular ones and the red ones are flares. I usually carry that out when I'm in the field. I've got some maps here. And I've got extra water with my water filter on top of this. I use a Sawyer Mini on top of this, just on top of my smart water. And then I'll pour that into the drums. It takes like an hour to fill everything, which is slower than I would like, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And this is kind of my junk drawer here, which I know isn't great, but that's where I keep some other stuff. I've got my hatchet, I've got my saw, back behind the hatchet, whoa, and that's that. And then back here you can see a little bottle. This is pea milk, nutritious pea milk. There you go. This is delicious, so good. I've only had it once and it was in this bottle. But this is actually my pee bottle, which is a little nasty, but it's just something that makes my life a little easier so I don't have to get out in the middle of the night if I have to pee and go outside because it's really freaking cold out. And then you basically just dump that when you're done with it. I do not poop in here. I do not shower in here. And that's that. Okay? My partner and I are going to be building out an ambulance this season, so if you want to see that, please subscribe down below and you'll get to see those videos when they come out. And if you like this video, also please consider subscribing. I work really hard to make content that I think will be helpful and that y'all enjoy. And I'm extremely excited to get people out in their cars and trucks and on the road comfortably, hopefully. And the last CRV video, somebody commented that they wanted to see more how I functioned in here, so I hope that I accomplished that goal and you have a pretty good understanding of how I spend time inside of the CRV here. It's pretty roomy. You can see that. Pretty good size for one person, but I think a little too small for two people to be comfortable in here. We've definitely done it though. But thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a like. And if you have any questions, please drop them down below. I answered a ton of questions last time, and I hope that y'all found them helpful. And even if I can't answer your question, if I don't have the answer to it, I'll try and help connect you with a resource where you can get the answers that you deserve. So I'll see you later. Please subscribe if you want to see the other videos. We're almost at 200 subscribers, which is awesome. And I'll see you next time. Stay hungry. Bye.